Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the UniqueFemme Podcast. I'm so excited to introduce you to today's guest. Today we have Charissa Floriancic. I'm saying it properly? Yeah. Okay, perfect. Founder and CEO of Crushed Aftercare, a multi-seven-figure aftercare company, an identity mentor for product company owners, somebody who has had a great impact on my life. And so I'm so excited to have her here today as our season finale for our 2025 year. Hello, hello. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor. And final guest. Hello.
Of course, I wouldn't have it any other way. At one point, maybe we can explain a little bit how we met and the impact you've had on my life. But let's start with you, because I know that there are so many incredible things happening with your company. And I think for anybody coming in, especially somebody who is listening, who has maybe a product company or wants to have a product company, this is going to be so incredible for them. But also any type of business, any type of identity work you're definitely going to learn something in this conversation today. So let's go into Crushed Aftercare first, because this is a worldwide company and it's so cool to see everything that's being done online. Can you explain a little bit what the company is and how you started it?
Yeah. So the company is for the beauty world. So cosmetic nurses, tattoo artists, permanent makeup artists, and they order our natural vegan aftercare and they can get their brand on it. So it's like a white label company. Most of our customers are in the USA. I'm here. Our company's based in London, Ontario, Canada. And we have customers in Dubai, over in Europe, Australia, the UK, and that's what the company is. So it's aftercare in the beauty industry. And it started, I was actually a school teacher. So I was a kindergarten teacher. And I was on my mat leave with my second baby. So I have 3 kids. And one night I was thinking about the kids in my classroom who didn't have any healthy fruit. And we would always say, okay, in the morning when you're going to pick a snack, pick your healthy snack. And there would be some kids who they had, chips and cookies and they just couldn't afford the healthy food. So as I was lying in bed one night, and I have to share the story because it's like such a magical, like mystical story. And I had this thought of like, how can I help these kids? Yes, they come and they'll ask me, I don't have a healthy snack, and they'll ask, do I have anything? And I give them my banana or to give them my apple for my lunch. And I thought there's got to be a better way so they don't have to come up and ask for this. They don't feel centered out. So I thought, well, why don't I just provide a basket of fruit in my class? And I could easily do that, just pull money from my own, personal, which we do as teachers, right?
Yes, yes, we do.
Yeah, supply for our classroom. I thought, well, there could be something a little bit more creative. And I heard this voice in my head, which is like divinely guided, I know now, that said, make lip balms. And I was like, what the heck is this? I don't know how to make lip balms. I've never done this in my life before, but it really excited me. And I thought, if I make lip balms and I sell them to family and friends, I'll use some of that money, buy the fruit.
Wow.
I called it Fruit for Kindy Kids. And so that's how it began. And then local boutiques and stores like Pretty Natural here in London. And we had a lot of, at the time, local boutiques like the Bean Garden and I don't know, all these other ones. Really popular back then. This was 10 years ago, by the way.
Okay.
Just to give you a time frame of, how it takes time to get to where I am today. And and people bought and started to be like a side hustle, extra few $100s. And then it grew and grew to the point where I left my teaching job. And then my husband, Andrew, who worked at the local jail, also was able to leave his job and work full time for the company.
Isn't that the dream, to be able to like retire your partner and have, this family, I guess, business at that point that you've created from such a place like rooted in such love and wellness and care? I love that story. And I think I knew a little bit of that story, but I either forgot or didn't remember the full thing. And I love that so much. And so where is this now? And I love that, I mean, you said took 10 years. And I love that because I think online we're seeing a lot of like, follow this exact structure and strategy and you'll be a millionaire, or that's going to happen, and these like quick fixes. Yeah. And I know that you'll have probably a lot to say about that in terms of identity work and things like that. But where is Crushed Aftercare now?
So used to be in my kitchen. So we moved out of the home, kitchen into the basement. And then I
Crazy.
would have people literally, and there'll probably be people listening from London going, I was once in her basement
Oh,
helping, because I would get this influx of like thousands of orders of, little pods of bombs for big companies in Canada. And I would have to recruit people from London to come in temporarily and just come to my basement and help pour the bombs and lid them. Um, so we moved out of the home into, we have it's like an office front. So it's like two offices with a production space and then like a kind of warehouse type thing. So we have a location now and we have 3 employees, um, 5 altogether, including Andrew and I.
right.
And yeah, we make for, the leading distribution companies in the permanent makeup industry in Canada. So we make for big companies and
Wow.
big,
Wow.
big names out there.
So, and I love this because I know that this has led into your mentorship, and we'll get to that in a second. How, if somebody's just starting out, maybe they're starting a product company, whether it's making, I assume bracelets or even clothing or whatever it is, where would you tell them to even start? They have this idea, they want to start it. Um, what would you say to that person?
Yeah. Like I think back when I first started, I had the idea and then I was like, okay, how do I make these lip balms? And it may be something where you already know how to make the thing. I didn't. So I had to research, Google it, what supplies. So I ordered from a local soap store here in London, got the supplies, got creative, took photos right on my kitchen table, and I thought, "Oh, I'm being so creative." And I look back and like, these are the worst, like the darkest pictures. And I had, there was like the ceramic tray on my table. It was white. And I had made lip balms, bath bombs, soaps were like my first products. So I had like these 3 bath bombs. And then I put these flowers like around and took a photo and
I love
I
that.
made my graphic. It was actually back then this rose gold because that color was in.
Mm.
Rose gold heart with like a C in the middle. Yeah. And I remember when I was going to post and sell these bath bombs, I was shaking. I
Mm.
was so nervous to post and sell it because I was actually worried, what would my friends think? What would people who know me think about this? They'd be like, "Where'd this come from?"
Mhm.
And it actually didn't upload the first time I pressed post.
Crazy.
I was like, "Well, it didn't upload. What's going on?" And then I was like, "I'm gonna try again." And then it uploaded. But yeah,
Hmm.
doing the research, right? But it really is like getting the first materials that you need and getting it out there to the world, not being perfect. Like my photos are again embarrassing when I look back, but it's really cool to show the before and after to
Mm,
where I am now
yeah.
and how professional and how much we've evolved since the very beginning.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like it's such a I love a few things that you said there because even when talking to clients or anybody, they're like, "Well, the biggest fear is like, what are my friends gonna say?" It's
Yeah.
like not even like what the world's gonna say. It's
Yeah.
like what are my friends and what's my family gonna say? Because it doesn't maybe match the identity that you had with them
Mhm.
before. And I'm sure that this is
Yes.
exactly what you help your clients with. Um and so that's the biggest fear. And it's kind of pushing through that. And how do we continue to take those steps? And so how did you, it sounds like you were just like, I'm just doing it. And how was it received from people? Like, what was that experience like?
Well, I can tell you, if you are if you do have a big vision, okay,
Mhm.
which I'm guessing most of the women, the men too, do men listen to this podcast as well?
Yeah, yeah, I think so some men, mostly
Yeah.
women, but
Most
women
likely have
plus.
okay, most likely have a very big vision. And because you are going to shift your identity to match that reality that you want, there is going to be incoherency with the people who match the reality you currently are or that you once were.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
there this is work that I do with my clients. So there does have to be this sense of like personal power, conviction, this perseverance, this holding the vision no matter what,
Yeah.
because not everybody is going to support you.
Mhm.
And you will be surprised that the people who do support you, and you hear this a lot, will be people who are not your best friends or
Yes.
the family members you thought would support you. So that definitely comes with the territory. And I'm not going to sugarcoat that
Yeah.
because it's just like
100%.
how it goes when you change and shift and evolve.
And I think that's actually the power of mentorship is finding
Yes.
somebody to help you
Yeah.
hold that vision because it is very, very hard to hold that vision on your own when there's that identity shift happening and those people are, I always I call it like the cringe bridge. Like they're gonna see you on
Mhm.
this cringe bridge and you have to cross the cringe bridge. Like you just have to
Yeah.
cross it, whether it's like your pictures that were cringy or whatever it is. You can't fly over that bridge. You have to walk it,
Yeah.
but at least you're walking the bridge rather than like standing and looking up at the bridge and judging others on it, and it's also okay that they don't understand because they're designed like we're actually not our bodies don't like change, and so you changing can feel dangerous to them,
Yeah.
and it's coming out as judgment. But like hold the vision and get
Yeah.
yourself in a room with women who have their vision and will help you hold your
Yeah.
vision.
Yeah.
Which actually Carissa was that for me. Maybe I'll go in and
Okay.
actually share how we met,
Okay.
a little bit, and then we'll go back to Carissa. But, after I guess it was after my car accident in 2021, you guys know if you are on this podcast, you probably know, but, I was in my car accident and I was like, talk about an identity shift. I was like, "Okay, I don't think I can dance anymore. I don't even know if I could do my job anymore. I couldn't mom like I could before." My whole life changed, and I was like sitting here, and this is really cool actually because when I did my first session with Carissa, because she was my coach, she was my first mentor, um, I was sitting in front of that fireplace when we had that
Oh
Zoom
my gosh.
session. And Carissa, at the time, you were doing gene key readings and
Oh.
things like that. And she did my gene key reading. And then we talked about even back then you were doing identity work. And then she said, "I just see you becoming a coach. I see you doing wellness. I see you, I think you said on stages. I see you running retreats. And like here I am doing everything that you said I was gonna do." And it's like Carissa was actually the first person who knew what my life was gonna look
Yeah.
like. And so that to me, and then she was actually my mentor and my coach. And now it's like my life is 100% everything that I've
Yeah.
built for. So thank you, and I love you, and
Crazy.
it's been such an honor to be in your world and
Yeah.
have you as my mentor
Oh,
as well. Yeah.
I was thinking that driving over, I was thinking about how we met. I'm like, whoa, complete transformation.
Mhm.
And yes, I am psychic. Your audience is like, where'd this come from? She
What
saw
is
this
that?
vision. Yes. Which
Surprise.
helps with leading my clients into their millionaire identity because I see it so vividly for them. So I can hold them to that standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so maybe we can go into that because, um, how what this is in terms of the product company, helping people hold that vision within their product companies, that identity shift. How do
Mhm.
you serve them in this way? What is this for them and for you?
Yeah. So I think that people who have a product company, it's totally underrepresented how vital and powerful their identity is in the growth of their company
Mhm.
because there's so many strategies out there that you can use, right? There's like the marketing, there's affiliates, there's going to vendor shows, there's, your content daily. And that can obviously move the needle,
Mhm.
but for you to and this is my mission, like who I want to lead are people who want to go massive, they want to go global, they want to be millionaires, they want
Yeah.
to 10x their themselves, they want to 10x their company, and then this is the part that like really moves me is they also want to transform any generational money scarcity poverty patterns
Mhm.
into prosperity instead, which is really close to my heart because I come from a lineage of, my grandma, my mom, where it's like poverty. There's, always not enough money. Right. So it's like, no, I am changing that. So, but this is through who they're being. And so this is my focus for my clients and who I really want to serve. And if I think back to my journey from the very beginning, it was the vision. Like I had this
Right.
vision of my lip balms not just being this little, side hobby and just friends and family. It was like I saw this vision of me having a team, employees, having a big production space, being worldwide. And I could see myself on a laptop mentoring and leading and guiding, and also see myself on stage. I was like, wait a minute, I'm making lip balms in my kitchen. How is this like
Mm.
possible? And
Mhm.
so over the years, Now I'm rarely at the production space. I don't make the product. I don't package it up. I'm rarely ever there. I'm at home mentoring women all over the world, right? Like being on stages, being on this podcast. I
Yeah.
was just in Florida last week for a women's event. I even saw Andrew leaving his job. Like he was going to be beside me. He's full
Right.
time, running the company over there. So um, the content wouldn't have got me there, right?
Yeah.
The strategies. It was like I had to see that vision and then move into that identity, become her. And I think product companies is very underrepresented. Underrepresented. You see it a lot in the coaching world, where it's
Right.
like you have to become her and like move into that identity. But product people, they're like, I just want to sell my mug,
Right.
right?
Right.
And it's like there's this like disconnect there. So I'm here to connect that gap.
Yeah. Ooh, I love that because,
Mhm.
we were talking a little bit about this before we started recording and about the importance of bringing this into the product company. Because, yeah, I think in a world where we're talking so much about strategy, especially when maybe I feel like in the service industry now, like you were saying, coaching, we talk
Mhm.
a lot about identity and body based work and all
Yeah.
energy and all of those things. But then, like you were saying, like you're going into, I mean, you go into these big spaces, what it's PMU
Yeah.
world, is
Permanent
that what?
makeup. Yeah. PMU.
Okay, yeah, PMU. I've been watching your stores. And I mean, you go into these huge events. And so is that like the goal is to bring this conversation into those events and these spaces where uh, you know, people could dream of having just so much more for their product company. Because I know a lot of product companies in London, they're doing incredible things.
Hmm.
But yeah, like I feel like there's like a plateau that you hit when you're staying
Yeah.
within your city and if your goal is to go bigger. So
Hmm.
um what would you say to somebody who's maybe actually established in their product company in London and they've kind of or wherever they are and they've hit a plateau? What's like something you would help your clients with or say to your client in that?
Yeah. So if this is you,
Yeah.
this is the work we would do. So it'd first be getting really clear on what is the vision.
Okay.
Because what happens is people often play small and they have a smaller vision than what they actually want because they think it's not possible for me.
Mm.
How can it happen for me? There is somebody who actually does a similar company that I do. She makes lip balms. So we're aftercare now. We ended up, and that's another story. Your
Mm.
audience is probably like, wait, she made lip balms. How is she branded aftercare for the permanent makeup? Anyway, we transitioned into that. That's a different story. But this person does lip balms, white labels. So, which means she puts the logo on for other companies onto the lip balms, very similar to what we do, except for aftercare. And I was like, oh, who's this? I'm always interested in when there's a similar company to mine. And I went to her website. And on her website, I'm trying to remember, I'd have to go back, but it was basically her saying, I'm just a small town girl and I'm just a one person show. And honestly, I don't think it could ever get any bigger than this. She's literally saying this on her website.
Wow.
And instantly, I'm feeling constricted by her mindset and her beliefs around
Mhm.
what she thinks possible.
Right.
So, a lot of the times with, if it's we're talking to someone in our city, it's like if they truly listen to what they wanted without putting limits or
Mhm.
caps, they would be saying something like, I want to be on Dragon's Den, get a deal with Arlene Dickinson. I want to be in every single, I'm getting like chills.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to be in every single like winners across North America. And I want my product to be all over Europe, in Australia, in every single Walmart, like whatever.
Yeah.
That's truly what they would want.
Mhm.
Multi-millions, have a team. And here's the thing too, is people think that if they go that big, it's going to be harder.
Mhm. Mhm.
But once you shift into the CEO identity, I just did a reel on this. I'm like, I'm by the pool in Florida, escaping the Canadian snow. And then I showed a pop up of like 40K, 10K, like all this cash coming in. I have a team doing the work. So like as you scale, you can't hold and handle the growth by doing what you're doing now. So this is the identity shift too. So for the product, owner who's listening right now, you may limit yourself and go, but how? How can I get to that point? Like I wouldn't be able to make 30,000 lip balms by hand or jewelry or oil blends or whatever it is. It's like, yeah, because it won't be you,
Right.
And so that 10x you, the multimillionaire you who's going global, you won't even recognize her. Let's say this is in 5 years or 10 years. I was a school teacher in the kindergarten classroom. I'm unrecognizable now.
Mhm, mhm. Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
I
so the
love that.
vision,
Yeah,
holding that vision. I mean, there's so much more to
yeah.
what I lead my people on, but there is also a huge, like, inner, I call it the inner CEO, and then there's an outer CEO too, but the inner part too is really the conviction in the vision and the dream, and then doing all of the energetics, the certainty
Mhm.
frequency, right? The mindset and beliefs and the subconscious programming
Yeah,
that needs to be
yeah.
disrupted.
I mean, it's so important, and I mean, my framework is always like the 4 pillars of regulating your nervous system are the 4
Mhm.
pillars that I think you should be using in your business, and that has become my business model. And so, like, we
Good.
always talk about mindset is so important, and like the content and like all of that part, the structure
Yeah.
and everything, that's the mind. And then the other part is body, and bring your body into the conversation, and the rewiring and the clearing subconscious beliefs, and the ways of doing that, which are very body based tools. Because yes, you're soul led, and yes, you have your goal, and
Mhm.
but you are in a human body form, and your
Mhm.
body holds all of your beliefs. And so, like you were saying, like really working through the subconscious and
Mhm.
working with those beliefs. And then there's the spiritual part of it, which is the trust and the purpose and the creativity. And then, having the community aspect, having the mentor, stepping into those big rooms, which I know is something that you do a lot. Like, you're
Yeah.
not afraid to step in
Yeah.
the big rooms.
Mhm.
What impact has that had, going away to these women's events and stepping into these big rooms? What's the impact that that's had on you and your
Yeah.
businesses?
Well, this is normally where, like, the big deals have happened, like, the
Mm,
big, relationships, collaborations have happened by being in the room, and, one thing I've noticed about myself is, and I don't know where it comes from, but I have this attitude of, I get to sit at the table. Like, I
mm,
belong at the table.
mhm,
And example would be at this woman's event that I was at, there was a company there that was a vendor, and they're similar concept, a white label company. And I went up to them and I was like looking at their product at the table, and they're like, "Oh, what brought you here?" And I'm like, "Actually do the exact same thing that you guys do, like very similar." And then I said, "Is the owner here?" And she's like, "Oh, he's here. He's just kind of popping in and out." I said, "Okay, I would like to meet him." And it's just like, I had the nerves and the confidence to say, I want to meet him. And then, anyways, he ends up, I come back later, he's there, and I go straight up to the owner of this company. I've already checked them out on Instagram. I've already seen they have this massive place in Florida. Like, they're a big company. Introduce myself, tell them what I do, and I say, I don't want to be your competition. I want to be your collaboration. Let's work
mm,
together. I can be your Canadian manufacturer, and I can create your product. And then, like, we're talking like thousands of units, thousands of
mm.
dollars. And there was no, who am I to go up to the owner of this company, this
Yeah,
big, massive company? And on his thing, it says he has 400 million of sales under his belt. Like, he's doing really well.
wow,
And I just straight up told him, like, let's work together, let's team up. And it was like, I belong at the table.
I
And
love
it's
that.
because they can see that vision. So
Mhm.
this is the identity piece. That 10x version of me who's already made a deal with him. Am I going to sit back in the conference room and be like, oh, like this, like all nervous? Oh, do I go up? Do I tell him? No, 10x me. I go in and make a deal with him. Right.
I
So
love
it's
that.
moving like the 10x you, multimillionaire you.
I always, I think most of the big things that have happened in my business is from me reaching out to people and be like, "Hey, do you
Yeah.
need this?" Like, I was
Yeah.
actually saying the first, I've done 9 music videos now, and, like, that was, like, little girl Cynthia is freaking out. That was just one of my
Yeah.
dreams. Or even, like, some of the major, collaborations that I've had as a coach.
Hmm.
I was collaborating with somebody on somebody else, and then we kind of got the idea of going to Ivy, and then it like naturally progressed to me going to Ivy and teaching there, which was like a big deal.
Love
But it
it.
had I not connected with that person, it
Hmm.
wouldn't have really happened. And if I would have hid in the corner, it just
Yeah.
like wouldn't have happened. And
Yeah.
so reaching out to people, you're gonna hear no, but at
Hmm.
least you're gonna
Yeah.
have a chance of hearing yes. And I feel like that's been the biggest
Yeah.
impact. And not being afraid of people being like, who does she think she is?
Yeah.
I think that I deserve a place at the
Yeah.
table.
Yeah. Exactly.
Love
And
that.
the next day, there was the sister-in-law was there. And so she ended up coming up to me because I emailed my prices and stuff
Mm,
on doing the lip balms for them. And she came back and was like, yeah, like, let's have a meeting. We want to chat and have you were interested in your lip balm. So I was like, all right.
perfect.
But I do want to know that because I was thinking back, I'm like, wait, how was I so confident? But I wasn't always that confident because I remember going to a local store here and I was nervous to walk into the store with my soaps and my bath bombs and whatnot. So I was nervous before going in and being like, hey, here's my product. Would you like it in your store? But then, once you start having those yeses, then you start to build the confidence.
Right. Mhm.
And then you start to have connections, and then those connections snowball, right? And then you start to have this credibility behind your product. I
Yeah.
remember the first time I was in a store, I was able to use that store's name after they said yes, and then go, hey, to another store, can I have my stuff in your location? I'm already at
Yeah.
Purity Natural.
Yeah.
And so even with my aftercare, we started off making from Microblade Canada. Right when I was still in my kitchen, this is the one that they're now High Beauty, but they were Microblade Canada, big distribution company, and they came to me. Well, once I started making for them, I was able to leverage that credibility and then approach other companies and be like, I make for this name, I make for this.
Yes.
And then they're like, oh, okay. She must have good stuff. They trust her. So
Mhm.
now we want her. And that's the snowball effect.
Mhm. I love that. Is that
Yeah.
so if somebody does have a product company and say they're just starting, is that something you would say to them? Like go because I obviously this is not my forte. I'm
Yeah.
the least creative person. I will dance, but try and get me to create anything like that and it's not gonna work. But would you just tell them to go into the stores and say, here's my product. Are you interested? Is that how you kind of got
Yeah.
started? And then you get one, like you just said, and you leverage on that.
Yeah. So I started off like posting content. So Instagram, Facebook, posting on my personal Facebook, start an Instagram page with the product. Um, I would go into local places that, I knew was aligned with the thing that I was making. And then I also would DM on Instagram and show photos. So I'd say,
Whoa.
hey, this is the
Okay.
product. And then I'd show them photos of the product and whatnot. I don't find email as effective. I think because people are like, who's this emailing? But in person, for sure, if you're able to, just walk in, go and ask for the owner.
Yeah.
And I know it's scary to do, it's intimidating, but go straight for the source. And if it's Instagram, then at least they're able to check out your page and see you, especially if
Right.
you're doing videos of you, there will be that instant connection of, they like you, they trust you, your stuff looks good, you look like you're devoted to your company.
Yeah.
And then sending photos of the product too, so they can decide if it's something they want
I
or
love
don't want.
that. So, like, we're talking about how, you've got you're 5 employees for a company, you're traveling for work, you're doing this identity coaching. You're so, it seems like a lot. And you have 3 kids,
Mhm.
you have a husband. Um, how do you do all of that? I'm sure that's a question that you get a lot. How do you
Yeah.
do it all? And it's a question I get a lot too,
Yeah.
right? As a solo mom, I'm like, yeah. So what do you say to that and to those people who are
Yeah.
struggling with time?
Yes, and this is actually I wanted to talk about this because this is a big thing that people say is like, "How do you do it all? I don't understand." And I work out too, and I go to
Mhm.
my kids' sports events, and I have time to watch Netflix, and watching Love Is Blind right now. So, you know,
Ooh, I should get on it.
yes, yeah. Um, but this is something that I also lead my clients on when it comes to identity work is one of my pillars is around standards
Mm,
and boundaries
mhm.
because this is the part too of getting clarity of like what you want. So with my clients, I'm always like, what is the vision? What do you actually want? Well, my clients, they all want to be a present mom. They all want to have like the best, like hottest, steamiest relationship with their partner. They want to be able to work out and take care of their body. They want to be able to rest when they want to rest. So get really clear. Well, what is this dream life? Okay, well, let's make it happen. And so this is where the standards, the one pillar that comes in of like around personal power, standards, and boundaries. And so if your standard is I work out, then as soon as the kids leave the house, I go straight upstairs. I put the workout clothes on. I'm timing. I'm doing a 45-minute workout. Get that in. There's no stopping and scrolling, getting distracted by outside noise. It's like that is it. That's important to me. This is a part of my next level identity. So it has to be in my calendar. Like
Right.
it's a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
And then, so if it's like, I want to grow a multi-million-dollar company, well, after that workout, I'm executing on the marketing. And now next we're going to hire a marketing person team. We're going to hire a sales rep. Like that is what will come because I'm doing the marketing for both.
Mhm.
But it's like, this is the time slot. Okay. My client calls are on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I go into Voxer or Telegram, I have a boundary there too. I'm not going in all day. I'm not over serving. It's like
Right.
very potent, very powerful. And I'm focused on the task at hand. And again, I think there's just a lot of noise
Yes. Yep.
with my clients. It's like they're doing the things that don't even matter, like looking over their website over and over again, trying to perfect that, or creating a reel, overthinking their reel that they're going to do, and then trying to recreate it 20 times and taking an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So I can say over the 10 years, it's definitely been like imperfect action,
Mm-hmm.
but I've known exactly like what moves need to happen
Mm-hmm.
and what moves are just noise that I need to filter out. And I'm constantly doing this. I'm doing this every day. Like I will journal in the morning. And that's important too, is to connect your higher self to the 10x version of you. And I will journal every morning before the kids get up. And this is, again, every part of my day. And it's like 10x me. How do I move? And I'm writing what needs to be filtered out. What did I do yesterday that was not a match for the
Mm-hmm.
10x me?
I love that.
And so I'm not perfect right now. Like I'm like, every level there's a new devil. So I'm like, I'm going into my next goal is 500K months. So I'm like, 500K me would not have done this yesterday. I would not have, I
Mm-hmm.
would have been doing this in place of the noise. So maybe it was like checking my DMs too many times. Right. Or I do go into Facebook and all of a sudden I see, I'm kind of scrolling a little. I'm like, wait a minute, I have to stop myself and be like, this has nothing to do with the vision or the dream.
Yeah.
So it is the standards and the boundaries and getting really clear on what that is. And so tonight, soccer, my kids have soccer, right? So it's like business is away, go to soccer.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a team as well. Like I have an assistant for coaching, my coaching business. And then I have a team that does all the physical products
Right.
now.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. I love we're so used to doing gratitude journals. And by the way, I love gratitude journals. Very good for cortisol. But like if you're not sitting with it and feeling it, it's going to be way less effective. But also looking at like, wait, what is serving me and what is not serving me? Because that's actually the filtering out part.
Yeah.
So I love that. That is brilliant.
Yeah.
Write that down. That's so smart. Everybody go do that. I'm going to do that tomorrow morning. And something that you always say too is that action creates clarity. Take imperfect action consistently, and just that's the clarity. And I remember, like, even if you're like, I don't even know what I want to do, it's going to shift anyways. Just start, and then you'll know if you like it or not. And that was me. It was just like, I was like, I don't even know who I'm here to coach. And I remember Carissa being like, well, okay, let me present you a few options, which one lights you up more, and just start there, even if you're not sure. Like, just start. And for me, I was like, okay, I think it's moms who are overwhelmed. And now here I am helping business people going to Ivy and corporate settings and teaching them how to get their body on board with their success through nervous system regulation and rewiring. And I was like, I can finally explain what it is that I do and I love so much. But it takes time and it takes a lot of action.
And allowing yourself, this is coming through really big, allowing yourself to evolve and change. And sometimes entrepreneurs will be like, but this is my logo. This is the name of my business. And then they start overthinking and wasting time on what logo should I do? What should I call myself? Because what if I change it in 2 or 3 years? And I'm like, well, you probably will. So just go with what you have now. I mean, I've evolved with Crushed Aftercare from Crushed with Love is what it was called before to now specifically Crushed Aftercare. And now we're 10Xing. So we're basically burning down the model we have right now and it's going good. But I want great. I want extraordinary. So now the identity of Crushed Aftercare cannot be the same it is today, even though you're probably going, but wait a minute, you have a team, you're worldwide. We're literally shifting the trajectory of who we're now speaking to and targeting because we cannot scale to $500,000, $1 million months with our current identity of Crushed Aftercare. So allow yourself to pivot and evolve. And even with my coaching right now, Like I just shifted into specifically identity work for product-based CEOs, and I wasn't always that.
Yeah,
Like that.
I love that so much. So, like, my fingers are tingling as you're saying that, like, my whole body. So, okay, because we're talking about obviously you support them with their own identity, but then we're also talking about the identity of the business. And when you are
Yes.
revamping an entire business model, like, because I'll say this, even for myself, one of the things that I always struggled with was like sitting down and taking a day and going, okay, what am I doing?
Mhm.
Like, what is my business? Getting
Yeah.
clarity because it's so easy to get sucked up into the day to day.
Yeah.
So, what does that revamp look like? Like, when you
Yeah.
completely shift everything, what does a day in the life actually look
Oh
like?
my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, first of all, do you have a hot tub?
No, I
No. Okay. Because
wish.
that's where I do like my innovation. I
Okay.
will, this is the part where it's like, how does she do all the things? I even have space in the afternoon that I devote to like my innovative creative time.
Mm,
I think it's Bill Gates who like will actually go away for a month or whatever, 3 weeks in solitude to like a cabin where nobody's around.
mm,
So this is kind of what I do, but in the afternoon I'll do the hot tub, or in the when it's hot weather I'll go to the pool, and I'll post about this. And
yeah,
it's
you
like
do. Yeah.
people think, oh, this is me just being lazy, but I can tell you like the ideas that come in, the downloads,
Mhm.
the visions that come in, those are the innovative 10x moves that we've made with my company because of that time.
Yes.
So even if you have 20 minutes before the kids get home, this will usually do 20, 30 minutes, shower, or just lie on your couch, have your journal there, close your eyes, and just allow the visions to come through and the messages that come through. But anyway, with the company right now, what does the day look like? So I really have to, this is like the part where it's like, oh my goodness, it racks your brain because it's not who you've been.
Hmm.
So I have to think, okay, if I am Carissa running a company that's 500K months, what moves do I need to make? And so I think, okay, right now I'm spending too much time doing this, this, and the other thing. If I was 500K me, I would be having meetings with massive companies, like
Right.
landing deals, right? So I'd be doing that kind of thing. It would even be shifting the type of marketing. So if we're working for these massive companies having $50,000 orders coming in, 30,000, whatever per month versus $500 orders from people, now what does that look like with our marketing? Or
Right.
what does our actual space look like? If we were to have those orders coming in, we wouldn't even have the capacity. So now what I'm doing in my days is, okay, now I need to look for loans. So see how I'm like starting before it's happening. So
Yes.
we're applying for loans so that when the company comes, because they're going to, right? Like, because I'm in so much conviction of the vision and I'm moving like her by sourcing out the companies at this level, right? That will order $50,000 monthly contracts, connecting with them, following them so they see us, reaching out. So I'll research like who had email, the head honchos of the
Right.
companies, getting in the rooms too. So this has been huge for us, is going to events where those people will be there. And we're currently making for he was CEO of a big company for the beauty industry. And now he does all this stuff over in Europe, and we're partnering with him and his brand, and
Mhm.
it's massive. But we met him because we went to a beauty event, and that person who ran it knew him and referred him our way,
Yeah.
right? So getting in the rooms
Yes.
with the connections, really, really big. But yeah, on a daily it's like, okay, now I'm going to apply for the loans. I wasn't doing that before because I didn't need to, because the money's coming in, we can pay our staff. Like we have a facility that holds and handles where we're at currently, right?
Mm.
We've had to shift our pricing, our model. So people, they can order 100 sticks. It was 50 before. Right away, as soon as I wanted to shift that identity, I moved it up to people have to buy 100 now, because we're not serving really small,
Right.
old clients, old story, old identity. Do people like it? Not everyone.
Mhm.
Customers come and they say, but I can't get 100. And it's like, well, we're not the company for you anymore, or order the 100.
Yeah.
And we have to be okay with that,
Yeah.
because what people will do is they'll
Yeah.
revert back to their old identity and go, oh, but that would be an extra little bit of money. But we're having to hold that standard, and we've been tested. It's funny how
Yeah,
that happens.
that's
You can
hard to
test it.
do.
Yeah.
That's my question too, because I know you're. Oh god, this is so good. I could talk
Mhm.
to you for literally 6 hours. I swear
I
to
know.
God. Even before we started, we were
Yeah.
talking. We were like, we should probably start
Yeah.
recording.
Yeah.
Oh my god, my whole body. Okay. Because that's a great question because that is such a fear. And of course, I've
Mhm.
experienced that
Yeah.
and I've been able to move through that. I mean, as a solo mom with all of the financial
Mhm.
responsibility, a
Yep.
mortgage and
Yeah.
companies, and I have to be mindful of my brain, like that was a big fear for me. And luckily it's been going well and I've moved through it.
Mhm.
But I would love to know what you say about that when that fear comes in of like, holy shit,
Yeah.
my next identity requires me to trust that money's
Yes.
going to come in.
Mhm.
And if it doesn't, like, what do I do? Because it's a very real situation for a lot of
Yeah.
people, regardless of where they are in their
Mhm.
journey. I think
Yes.
we revisit that almost. So
Yeah.
what would you say
Yeah.
about that?
I mean, I feel like every level that's going to happen. When
Yeah.
Andrew left his job at the jail, it was the same thing where it was like I was leaving at the same time he was. So, like, we didn't have that extra income to rely on his jail income. It
Yeah.
was like, oh my gosh, our mortgage, our 3 kids, like,
Yeah.
there's no backup anymore. So, I feel you on that because a lot of entrepreneurs, their husband will at least have a full time job and can.
Yeah.
No, we were like, oh my
Okay.
gosh, our house, like everything, our cars and food, children, all the things. So, definitely had that moment there with that leap. But even recently with our shift that we're going into by raising the standards of, we want to go this big, our current model can't sustain that. Now we're going for the big guys. Now we're going up to, they have to order 5,000 units. It's screen
Wow.
printed. And a key to exploding is simplicity scales.
Mm.
So this model of having screen printed and having massive orders is actually way less laborious for our company,
Mm.
and we can now actually scale. But will we have the courage to make that move? And a lot of people, they'll stay in complacency and at the level they're at because it's too scary and too big of a risk. And it takes a lot of courage because this is our 99% of our clients are our current model.
Right.
So we're starting to shift into that. Started a page on our website that is the screen printed. And so we're going to transition into it. So it will take a little bit of time as we market. So we have to shift our marketing, who we're speaking to. We have to start attracting those people, building these relationships. And we'll still start to build it up. But I can tell you this, the question with what do you do? Like, because we want the money now, we need the money now. When you start to move towards that identity by the moves I've just told you, so this is obviously towards my business, you're going to relate it differently to yours,
Right.
but what moves do you need to make as you identify at this next level? And it's not going to be the same moves you're making now. So it might be a new team. It might be getting rid of team that you have now,
Yeah.
right? It might be, I don't know, investing in something like machinery like us or a mentor, or whatever it may be, restructuring everything. Um, the last couple of weeks since we've shifted already, we had that company at the event that we were just at.
Right.
We have that big guy over in Europe who now wants to make product with us and sell it over in Europe. And then we had a jewelry chain just randomly email us yesterday. And they're like, we want to have, your aftercare lip balms for our company. And I feel like there's like one more. And so it's like the universe will
Yeah.
rearrange. So you can stay where you're at, let fear hold you back. And this is a huge kind of spiritual part that you're talking about,
Yeah.
where it's like we have the faith that who we're being and the moves we're making, even though it's scary and uncomfortable, leaving my teaching job, leaving your teaching job, that was not easy.
No.
Identity crisis.
Absolutely.
For sure. So universe is going to rearrange.
Yeah.
Your reality is a byproduct of who you are and the
Mhm.
moves you're making.
Yeah.
And so it will, but you have to be willing
Yeah.
to become her.
Yeah, I love that. And I think
Mhm.
it's wow, that is like
Yeah.
that's it. Like mic drop. I don't even know what to
Yeah.
say. But I think that it's also so beautiful because it's like, okay, you're going to make these shifts and it's detaching from the outcome because the shift might actually bring you somewhere you didn't even expect or someone you didn't even expect.
I just got chills. It always is that way.
Right?
I never expected I'd go to a business conference with mainly coaches, guys, and 99% coaches, that I would make a connection with another company that my product business could manufacture. Like
See,
never in a
right?
million years.
Yeah.
So this is the divine orchestration.
Yeah. And I think it's like also bring you like joy. Like I had a client and I was just like, go do that thing that makes you have so much fun and literally lights you up. And I was like,
Yes.
I bet you anything, something will happen. I was like, take a break from your company,
Mhm.
go to the damn concert.
Yeah.
She made a connection that night. And then
Yes,
it
of
got a new
course.
client that night. And it was like her dream client
Yeah.
because her friend of a friend was there and it just happened. And so that's how it happens. So I think it's like you said, tapping into the trust, joy, and taking aligned action that's aligned with your future identity.
I want to add one more thing.
Yes,
Because this is very
please.
important.
Yeah.
Okay. Because yes, I talked about the identity and moving like her. And then I brought in like the actual tangible steps of we changed our website, we shifted our product. Like there's that strategy part.
Mhm.
I also cleaned out my closet.
Okay. Yes.
Like,
Yes.
I also refuse to drive our older car. So
Mm.
I will only drive our brand new car. I got a new wallet. I have a new purse. I only will dress like my
Mhm.
next level self. Like
Mhm.
coming to this interview, I was like, I'm wearing a fur coat. I'm wearing these black boots.
Yeah.
I have my makeup on. And it's when I go and get groceries. It's when I go
Yeah.
shopping. Sometimes I'm comfy, but it's like trendy. Like I still
Yes.
feel like I got my New York hat
You
on.
gotta put
I
some
got my
hoops on. That's what
puffy.
I always do.
Yeah. I still put on a little bit of lip gloss. I got my Nike sneakers on. So it's like I still feel like $1,000,000.
Mhm.
I still feel like trendy and there's intention
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
So there's more. There's the magic. This is where I say like the outer CEO. Because there's the inner that I was talking about, but then there's a whole
Yeah.
whole avenue
100%.
of the outer as well.
100%. I always, yeah. Like if you're feeling like you need to clear out your house, I'm always just like, that's so productive because you're literally creating more space and getting rid of, like you said, the
Yes.
things that don't match that future identity anymore. I love that so much.
And I even had a staff yesterday. I stopped into the product space and I'm like, before I leave, I need to vacuum. It was bugging me, the front office. And so I gave it a vacuum. And one of our team members, our employee, she said, oh, watch all the orders start to flow in now. And she said, because every time I go and do that, she's like, an order will come in. I'm like, yes.
Yes.
She's
There
all
you
about
go.
energetics too, right? And you
I
got to hire the people who are aligned with your brand and who you are too. So
I love
anyway,
that. Oh my gosh. Please let us not be the last time that we're on this podcast because I could just talk to you all day. Thank you for bringing your wisdom and your knowledge today and for being here. And it's so special to me because you've obviously been a very big part of my life. And I loved being invited, Chris invited me to her event to be a speaker. So that was just so cool to have been able to collaborate in that way. And I'm sure it's not the last time. So thank you so much. Where can we find you and what's next for your company? I mean, we kind of know that, but in a one-liner and then where can we find you?
Yeah. So you can come over to my Instagram, which is Charissa Floriancic. And that's where you'll find I'm mostly in my stories. So you can come see what I have, private coaching, I got my mastermind, and I got a frequency collective. So very focused on frequency and energetics and the laws of attraction, universal laws, and who you're being as well to skyrocket your business.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. I love you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great year. We will see you next year and we love you. Bye.